Good afternoon, everybody. This is the one-on-one show brought to you by Dilatory Law. Today's Thursday, September 20th.
Already.
September 20th?
Yeah.
Halloween's around the corner.
Yeah, it is. A little over a month away.
A little over a month away. And then there was a meme the other day on Facebook. It was like Halloween, Thanksgiving, put up the lights.
Everything. Oh.
Happy New Year.
You already gonna put lights?
I'm putting up the lights like this week, bro.
Wow.
I'm doing it. My thing is if the stores can sell all their Christmas stuff,
right,
and commercialize Christmas,
right,
and do that with Christmas, that we can do the same thing.
Celebrate all year.
Yeah,
year round.
Why not?
Christmas.
Well, literally last year we didn't have a place. My wife wanted a special box.
Okay.
Because we got like a 20-foot tree. It like goes up to almost our vaulted ceiling. And,
oh wow.
And if we got a fake tree.
Sure.
Right. Don't have to worry about cutting trees down and then the potential fire hazards and all that. And so we got a tree. We're talking about Christmas, folks.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about Christmas, but it's okay.
September.
It's September. We're talking about Christmas already. The year's almost over. Listen, I have been talking up UCF football.
You have a UCF shirt.
I got a UCF shirt.
Yeah, you are representing
Golden Knights, baby. I've been talking UCF football for since they won the national championship.
Yeah,
NCAA recognized national championship. I mean, it's been a good story after good story.
It really has.
Shaquem Griffin, one hand getting drafted in the NFL, going to the Seahawks. It's just been a great story after great. I mean, other than Frost leaving and going to Nebraska, and then we got Josh Heupel. But it's been great story after great story. This week, not so great story. Very serious story. So I think a change of tone is granted. We got a UCF football player charged with a sexual battery. Very serious allegations. Demetrius Mays Jr. out of Northwestern Senior High School in Miami, Florida, was charged with sexual bat after being accused by an alleged victim on campus of engaging in unconsensual sex. The allegations, both reported in Fox 35, Orlando Sentinel, and ESPN Sports, indicate that the alleged victim indicates that she at some point was unconscious, wakes up to being penetrated, and that's where the bad facts from Mr. Mays start. Mr. Mays does indicate that it was a consensual encounter. Now, from a criminal context, I can't stress enough the importance of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Mr. Mays is not guilty yet.
Not yet.
No. And he has entitled a defense. Make that very clear. He's entitled to a defense. He's entitled to representation, and he's entitled to confront all the defenses and issues in this case, which may eventually go to trial. We don't know yet. It's very, very, very early on. And if it goes to trial, state's going to have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. But this is not just talking within the context of this one case here with UCF football. Okay. I mean, these are very serious times with very serious issues. This is going all the way to the Supreme Court. I mean, this same issue is being discussed in a hearing next week about sexual allegations made against sexual assault allegations made against a Supreme Court nominee.
Right.
And just to weigh these two things and weigh the both sides on this thing. Okay. It's very difficult for the victims in these cases to come forward.
Sure.
And that's one of the main things that's going on with the Brett Kavanaugh case, is that we have allegations that have surfaced after 30 years, and people are really putting that to the test as to, well, why didn't she say anything 30 years ago? I think there was some information out there in the news that she did talk about it with a counselor or a mental health professional sometime in 2012 that would make some indication that she just didn't recently fabricate this just because the man's been nominated for a Supreme Court position. But if we're going to the level of the highest court in the land and testing that out, those facts do need to be explored, and they need to be explored in all these cases. I don't know if you agree, Andy. I mean,
do.
You got to get very fact specific on these cases, on what happened, and on the other hand, we have to explore the cases where information has been fabricated. There has to be more serious, I think, as an attorney, as a father of two boys. I mean, we're trying to raise our boys, and their mothers very much so emphasizing respect for women.
Sure.
Okay. And that should be the right thing. Mm-hmm. And to be clear for the young men that may be listening to the program, we've done a lot of advertising or PSAs, if you will, more specifically PSAs about not drinking and driving, not consuming illegal drugs. So as a PSA for this week, I think that you have to know where the boundaries are. You have to know that consent can be revoked. Consent could be initially given and then be revoked, which is something that I think may come up in the UCF rape case. Was there an initial consent, and then was that consent later revoked? Now, let me be clear, once that consent is revoked, that male or female individual engaging in that situation has to retreat, has to disengage from the sexual activity once that consent has been revoked.
Could consent be misconstrued? Like, could I believe that the consent was yes when the consent was
and that's always
no?
a factor with this case, and and alcohol is a factor in this case, and can consent be misconstrued? I think consent can be misconstrued, but again, that goes up to the ultimate trier of fact in these cases, which if it ends up in front of a jury, I think that's going to be up to a jury to decide, to look at what exactly was consent. But but what do you mean by that? What do you mean about consent being misconstrued?
So let's say somebody was playing around, like maybe even flirting.
Right.
And I take that flirt as consent. And they did not intend that flirting as consent. Do I need actual verbal yes, like sign here on the dotted line?
I think that's an open, like one of those open-ended things that is being discussed about a lot right now in the news and in social media. But at the same time, it's like, you're talking about flirting, man. I mean, there's got to be a few more steps involved to getting down to the actual, if you will, bumping uglies part of this. Okay. Clothes got to come off, and a lot of other things got to happen before you get to the ultimate deed. So I think it's by then there should be a pretty clear understanding, I would think, that you have consent.
But again, now you have to look at what level of consent did you receive? I mean, did you receive consent for lack of a better term, full sexual act, or did you receive consent for a little bit? There's different
scales of this whole thing.
Right.
There's different scales. There's statutes that govern whether there's a sexual assault because there was a digital penetration, or
exactly.
a penile penetration.
Yes.
So the different types of penetration are at play, right? So anyhow, it's a very sensitive subject. I think that people in the general public can't rush to judgment on any of these things. You read these stories and the media puts it out there, and factually, from what's being reported, it sounds bad, but there's all kinds of evidence. I mean, remember the Kobe Bryant case? The Kobe Bryant, how we forgot about that already.
I did until you just said it.
The Kobe Bryant case. I mean, when that story came out, I was like, man, Kobe's guilty. Everyone was like, Kobe's guilty. Yeah. Kobe did it. Yep. You know what I mean? And, Kobe's ultimately acquitted of those charges, which goes back to the whole thing about making false allegations. Let's get back to that for a second. And this is not, we have to be very clear. Women have to be respected. Sex should be consensual. But on both sides of the coin, I mean, case up in the Northeast right now, just like last month, kids got gotten out recently after being in prison for so many years.
Oh, yeah.
He was just recently acquitted, and that's not the first time. And, so many stories like that. So, something has to be done when there is a false allegation made. And I said, and my wife agrees with me on this point. And I think a lot of women will, because it makes it harder.
Yes, it does.
It makes it harder for the real victims to come out and say what they need to say.
Because at that point, they're going to be thinking, no one's going to believe me.
Right.
Because this person, even though what they said turned out to be false,
right,
that makes it harder for me to come out with the truth. Now,
right.
And the other thing you have to look at, when anybody, male or female, is going through this on a stand and having to relive that moment, that's traumatizing.
It is. Well, anyway, this has been the one-on-one show brought to you by Delatour Law. A very serious topic this week. Very serious topic this week. If you need criminal, immigration, or family law representations, you can reach us at 407-733-0640. We're located right here at the heart of downtown Orlando, 1351 Central Boulevard. And you can reach us at delatourlaw.com, on Facebook, Delatour Law Firm. On YouTube, you can catch this show and past shows by looking me up, Attorney Juan Delatour. And, just keep an open mind about these things. Don't rush to judgment. We're only knowing now what the media is reporting. That's what's out there. And in any case, specifically criminal cases, you have to wait for all the facts and all the evidence to come out. You have to, because you don't know. You don't know if maybe down the road this was fabricated. You know what I mean? And there's going to be physical evidence. There's going to be all types of things that need to be evaluated to get down to the bottom of this story. So be careful out there. If you're a college kid, you're out there, you're partying, you're having a good time, be sure that you're engaging in consensual relations, that you're not going to place yourself into a situation. I mean, I was in college. It was hard to, stay sober and think clearly when you're having a good time and all those other things. Like I said, oftentimes, drugs and alcohol, particularly alcohol, is involved in these cases. I almost want to say, it was like when we had the PSA, don't drink and drive, to bring it back around to a lighter note. We, don't have sex. And don't drink and have sex.
There you go. Yeah.
Don't drink and have sex. So that way everybody's of clear mind.
Everybody's a clear mind. Can make a decision.
Make a decision.
And can remember the decision they made.
That would be a perfect world, and we don't live in a perfect world.
If we did, you wouldn't have a job.
Probably not. Probably not. So thanks everybody for the imperfect world that we do live in. I get to keep my job, and this has been the one-on-one show. I think we've gone on long enough. We went a little extra probably this week, considering the serious topic. Again, if you want to catch us again, catch us next week. We actually have moved from Friday to Thursdays in order to make it easier for everybody to see us out there in Facebook land. And again, our phone number is 407-733-0640, delatourlaw.com, Delatour Law Firm on Facebook, YouTube, Attorney Juan Delatour. It's been great talking to you this week, and hopefully we don't have too many serious topics to talk about. I like it a little bit better when we're having fun.
Yeah, there are more guests on.
Yes. And in closing, that UCF game was rescheduled due to the Hurricane Florence. To everybody out there in South Carolina, be safe, and hope that you're staying out of danger. Remember, a lot of stuff happens after the storm. Be safe out there. Thank you very much for catching us this week. We'll catch you next week.